You are Locked On Dodgers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, hello and welcome to another Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. The place to hang out when games are almost over. Mercifully, this one almost is. It's 8-1 Padres, top of the ninth. And, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I mean, so many problems, so many questions, so many issues. It's really, I think Jerry Hairston Jr. kind of summed it up that this one hurts. That was the word he used on his little whiteboard. Hurts. Yeah, it's embarrassing. That's the word I always use. Embarrassing. I don't know that he would be allowed to use that in the middle of the Dodger broadcast, but it's just humiliating, I think, is another way of looking at it, because they're just not even close. Kerhsaw today looked like batting practice. I mean, I know a lot of you guys called that yesterday. I think it was BC called him an old fart, that he was going to get shelled, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe Nando said that as well. Nando, I had that thought run through my mind that this might be the last time we ever see Kerhsaw, because that was awful. He says, say it with me, Kerhsaw just retire. I don't know. I mean, there was nothing, as I put in the notes, nothing. He had nothing. 2 swings and misses. I mean, that is, I feel like any one of us could get 2 swings or misses. With the, if I went out there and threw a fastball, I could probably get it up to maybe 65 or 60. And I could probably get 2 swings and misses with a wannabe knuckler, or try to throw a screwball or something. I know that's not the point, but it just is. It's ridiculous and crazy. It's unbelievable. We use that word way too often in this business. It's unbelievable. I think it's used wrong, inaccurately a lot of times, right? When somebody does something that a professional athlete can do, they say it's unbelievable. No, this is unbelievable. What Kerhsaw did today, the way the Dodgers played in this series, pretty unbelievable. Anyway, this is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. A place to hang out when every game is done, and I believe it is done. 8-1 the final. Quick. Top of the ninth for the boys in blue. You can also listen to us wherever you find your podcast on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. That's where you find Jeff and Vince, who will be breaking this one down as well. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodger Postcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnMLB and use the code, all lowercase, LockedOnMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Could we start with a little good news? Because there's mostly bad news, and it's not even really close. Like, we're not going to even attempt to do a Diamond Dogs list tonight, because that would have been ridiculous. The good news, Kopech has to be elevated to the closer today. Struck out the side, had a bunch of energy and fire, and came out there and displayed it. 17 pitches, struck out the side. He was the only guy that made the Padres look like human today. Here's Kershaw's line: 3 2/3, 3 earned, 7 total. Now, some of them weren't his fault, although he did have an error himself, kicking a little nubber back to the box. 6 hits in all, ERA 5.87. Nothing worked. Nothing. Slider wasn't working. The 12-6 curveball wasn't there. Fastball was struggling to break 90. It was kind of sad. I felt bad for the guy. I really did. It was like, at least his last time out, he had stuff was working. And, he had a bunch of strikeouts, and today, none of that. I looked today and I said, how I feel about flailing at balls and just looking foolish at the plate. We talk a lot about it. And a lot of times it comes back to me saying something to the effect that the Dodgers didn't seem to have any fire today, any energy, any want to. Obviously that was the case. They did. I mean, when they went down 4-0 early in the second, I mean, they were just done, right? They were like, what are we doing tomorrow on our off day? Because they're staying in San Diego tonight. So they're like, all right, Coronado, gonna play some golf over there, maybe. I mean, they were out of this game quick. And there was just no fight, no determination, no like, hey, let's try to get back into it. No. They were done. Like, it was over. They didn't care. And Joe pointed this out, that the Dodgers, through their last 4 or 5 games, probably this one as well, have the most strikeouts in their history as far as that 4-game period. 14 Ks yesterday. Today they struck out 11 times. So that streak probably continues. The most strikeouts in a 5-game stretch for the Dodgers in their history. And like that, to me, a lot of times comes back to, determination, being more selective, better approach, and just going up to the plate with a different attitude. Let's look at the Padres for a second. Padres last season were 20th in batting average and 21st in contact rate. This season, they're first in both of those. So it is possible to just turn it around. It's not like they changed their whole team. They added a couple guys here or there. It is possible. These guys are professional, talented athletes. They have the ability to go up to the plate and do something different. But I don't think the Dodgers want them to. And that's kind of what is the problem for me. They don't give a damn about the strikeouts. They don't give a damn about putting the ball in play. They don't care about creating momentum, getting guys on base, trying to station score runs. They don't care about that. Obviously, they care about scoring runs, but they have got their mindset on how they're going to do it. And that appears to be, let's hit home runs. Shohei, go up there and hit 7-run home runs. We don't need to put people on base. We don't need to have a good batting average. They're 14th in the league in strikeouts, over 900. So that's kind of pretty much in the middle. I mean, I guess it could be worse. They could be the Mariners, who have 1,120 plus strikeouts. So it's not completely terrible, but it's definitely not good. And tonight, the defense was awful. 3 errors, 2 of them from Gavin Lux, who had 2 the entire rest of the season. 6-3 this season now when leading after 8 innings. That's over their last 9 games. They've lost 3 games when leading after 9 innings because their bullpen is unraveling. No identity. Nobody to turn to. Prior to that 9-game stretch where they lost 3 after 8, they were 47-0 when leading after 8 innings. I mean, and like another microcosm of this game was Dino Ebel. Once again, afraid. Oh, no, stop, stay. And then go, Shohei. And of course he gets thrown out. Like that's not the reason they lost this game, but it is a microcosm of how they play. Dino Ebel plays scared over there most of the time. Whoa, hold on. Like third base coach's job is to wind them when there is a base hit and there's a runner on second. If they throw you out at the plate, tip your cap and move on. This holding guys up all the time, ridiculous. The term I've come up with is put on your big boy pants and send them. Let's go. It's time. Andiamo. Vamos. Let's go. Start scoring runs. Stop holding people up. No. Hold up. Stop. It's ridiculous. Again, just a microcosm of the Dodgers' inability to be aggressive. Frustrating as hell. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast. on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel, the place to hang out when every game is done. 8-1 the final, swept by the Padres. They have lost 10 of their last 12 on the road, and now the Pods are 4.5 back. Oh, that's got to feel real good. Good news, though, they're going to play the Oakland A's. That'll make anybody a little bit better, except for the Angels, because the A's have just dominated the Angels. But the scary, frightening part of that is, what if the A's push them around? Oh, damn. Just cashing in my chips at that point. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed, wherever you find your podcasts. We'll take the first break and come back. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers postcast brought to you by Prize Picks. I was talking last night about throwing one up. I'm so glad I didn't, because I probably would have, I didn't think Kerhsaw was going to get roughed up the way that he did. So I probably would have done something there, because I'm sure his K number was like 3 or 4, because he had 6 or 7 last time out. That obviously didn't even come close to fruition. Again, he only had 2 swings and misses, let alone a strikeout. And it wasn't on the same batter, different batters. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. Easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 players and their stat projections for the game and watch the winnings roll in. Promotions like lowering stat projections on Tuesday is a good thing. Makes the life a whole lot easier. Get more green goblins. And it's basically like it's a gimme on one of your 2 projections. You got to pick a good one, a real one for the second one. And I love that, like a shorter trip to the finish line. They also have a promotion on Friday where you can get your entry fee back if you lose. Quick deposits and easy withdrawals. My initial deposit was really painless. I enjoyed it. I was like, that's it? All right, cool. And it was hassle-free, as are the deposits. I'm sorry, the withdrawals. So a lot of times is an issue. Sometimes getting your money when you do win is challenging. But now with Prize Picks, they're also available in more than 30 states like California, Texas, and Georgia. So go to prizepicks.com/lockedonmlb and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Prizepicks.com/lockedonmlb and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. Prize Picks. It is that easy. I'll tell you what is not easy for the Dodgers. Anything right now. Defense, scoring, pitching. It's all just very, very challenging. Mr. Seabed. Dodgers get swept by the A's. I'm moving to a remote village in the Amazon. Nando. Snyder will want Kershaw to pitch game 1 in October. I guarantee. Who's Snyder? Is that the GM? I don't even know who is I've said this before. I don't even know who the Dodgers GM is, because Snyder or the Dodgers GM doesn't do anything. Daniel Friedman makes all the decisions. Brandon Gomes. Who's Snyder? And you know what's funny about that, Nando? You're right. To make things even more frustrating, internet bogging down tonight here on YouTube. What I said was, what's funny about that, Nando, is you're right. They'll probably run him out there in a playoff game to start. I hope that is not the point. The Dodgers GM is Pete Fox. Such a yes man. I am not a yes man. How dare you? Oh man. Yeah. This, these type of games, this type of streak that the Dodgers on really, really highlights Dave Roberts' inadequacies at times. Vervid says mediocre manager thinks Kershaw deserves a chance. Lux, CT3, all like Roberts, mediocre. Lux is not mediocre. Lux is red hot right now. So I don't know where you got that. And CT3 is also, I wouldn't say red hot. He's fine. He's good over the last couple of months. It's just that he's injured right now. So let's throw the excuse card out for a little bit and say Mookie got to get him back ASAFP. Freddie Freeman's got to get back sooner than ASAFP. And, even Chris Taylor, Max, I don't think Max is coming back. And if he is, he's not going to be worth a damn because he's just been out too long. You can't be off this long and come back and expect to produce. Oh, and Jeff Snyder. Gotcha. Funny. Yeah, I had have a friend who I've known since high school, and we're more Facebook friends than anything. And I've put up a couple of times on Facebook at the end of the season, it's time to move on from Dave Roberts. And I don't say fire Dave Roberts like Nando and everybody else, BC. I say Dave Roberts needs to be promoted to the front office and taken out of the dugout and get a manager that is different. Just a different voice is kind of the thought that I have for this team. And this friend of mine from high school, he just loses it when people start on the whole fire Dave Roberts thing. So he made a comment today about something about being frustrated. I think this comment was, who needs baseball anyway right now? Because he's frustrated as well, but doesn't want to come right out and say it. And a bunch of comments came up about how the Dodgers are playing. And he's like, all of these comments caused him to say something to the effect of, let's not forget the Dodgers are still in first place. Like, okay, but that's like saying you're on the Titanic. Well, we haven't sunk yet. I mean, we're still above water, right? We're still floating. Yeah, for now, momentarily, right? Or it's like after you ate some bad food, you're like, well, my stomach feels really bad. Some of the other people that are here at this dinner are already in the bathroom, but I haven't thrown up yet. Well, get ready because it's coming. That's what's going on at the Dodgers. Well, they're still in first place. They're fine. No, they're not fine. And there's a reason why they're not fine. They're injured. We get it. Starting pitching shaky, but better because of the rookies. Bullpen a disaster. No identity. Don't know who to turn to close. So there's a lot of problems, right? Offense, anemic right now. Somehow Shohei Ohtani is still leading the league in batting with that 309 average. Again, another 0 for tonight. Will Smith 0 for. So there's no, who do you look on this team other than Gavin Lux? So again, the people that say Gavin Lux needs to be traded or optioned or whatever, he's terrible. Look, he's the only guy on this team right now doing anything, right? He is the only one. So without Gavin Lux, this offense would be even more anemic. So I can't say that I agree with that, but hopefully there's still time when Mookie comes back and Freddie comes back and they can get some momentum, find an identity. Hopefully Kopech and some of these additions, Flaherty will make this team, find their way, find their identity, get some life, get some energy, get some determination, get some more momentum. They need more momentum. They need more mo. They need some because they don't have any right now. Hopefully the A's will help out. Obviously, they're still pretty good at home, but you can't expect to be a team that has a shot at winning a World Series when you're terrible on the road, right? That's not the way it goes. So there's just a lot of issues, a lot of question marks. And then with those issues come more questions about when those guys come back, how long is it going to take them to get back up to speed? It feels to me like, obviously, Max Muncy's been out way too long. I think Mookie's just right around there, but he's such a technically good hitter that I think he'll be able to get right back up to speed. Freddie, obviously, not out. He isn't going to be out all that long. Yamamoto, when he comes back, hopefully that's soon, maybe in September. We don't know what we're going to see from that. It's just a big question mark. So there are just so many question marks hanging over this team's head right now. And I look at it and I say, what do we think? Where are we right now? We don't know where we are. It's just flailing and floundering. And it's kind of like a ship out in the ocean, a sailboat out in the ocean with the doldrums, and there's no wind. There's just nothing happening with this team. There's no life. They are run down and listless. I use that term all the time because I'm a huge I Love Lucy fan. And, when you're run down and listless, all you need is a little Vita Vita Vegemin. So maybe that's all the Dodgers need. I fully believe that a series against the A's in Oakland will be somewhat of a panacea. But, can that turn into a nice streak? Absolutely. It can turn into them just turning around and getting hot like that. But, the bad at bats and the striking out profusely the way that they have been of late. Fortunately, 0 for Shohei tonight. Will Smith, the hat trick. Andy Pages has looked awful, flailing at anything in the zone. And, I want to talk about something that Jeff Snyder and I got into a couple days ago. I believe it was Friday, with regard to when I got a little bit heated, got off track a little bit. I'm sure you guys remember that. And I made a foolish, contradictory comment about being too aggressive and swinging at bad pitches and watching strikes come down the middle. And Jeff said, those are the exact opposite things, which is absolutely correct and accurate. But I was a little, flustered. So I saw something today that I want to run by you guys and get your thoughts on real quick as we wrap this up. Dodgers lose 8-1, swept by the Padres. Now 4.5 ahead of San Diego in the West. Off day tomorrow, which obviously is welcomed and needed. And then they're on to Oakland to face the A's, which hopefully is also welcomed and needed, as they have dropped 10 of 12 on the road, dating back to that series against the Giants in June. So not going in the right direction. First losing month in 6 years, since 2018. Had they won today, they would have been 500 this month, but with a loss, one game under 500. Again, their first losing month since 2018. That tells you a lot right there. That tells you all you need to know about where this team is going right now. Hopefully they can turn it around sooner before later. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers Postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed, where you catch Jeff and Vince Monday through Friday, breaking it down as well. Tonight's episode of the Locked On Dodgers Postcast is brought to you by Supply House. Get supplies from the site that's made for skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources, the latest product info, so you know you're getting the right part to get the job done right, a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands, and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from a friendly staff in the business, the friendliest folks in the business, and you can talk to a real person every time if you so choose. Pros in skilled trades can get a complete competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free trade masters program. Every trade master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. So yeah, as I was watching Andy Pages, and I've been critical of him. He's a rookie. I get it. He's been pretty good at times, but when he's bad, he's bad. And the streak that he's on right now is averaged down to 242, another 0 for tonight with a couple of Ks. I believe Joe brought it up today that he's just swinging at bad pitches. And when you look at that and you say, okay, swinging at bad pitches, is that a positive thing? Like, yeah, I like he's up there being aggressive. Or is it just foolish? Is it like, listen, be better at controlling the strike zone? Now, when Shohei Ohtani swings at bad pitches, you're like, I don't love it. At least I don't. Maybe you do. I don't love it because I know he can control the zone better than he does. But here's the rub. Andy Pages is not Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani can swing at bad pitches and then hit a bad pitch out of the yard. I don't think Andy Pages can do that all the time. Occasionally, I've seen him pick one off the ground and hit it for a home run, or at least a double in the gap or off the wall or something like that. So I look at that and I go, is that just too aggressive? Because, that's a problem too. Being too aggressive is not always good. It can be an issue, not just in baseball, across the board, So I think, to me, my thought is that being too aggressive is just as bad as being passive. You got to find a sweet spot. And for these Dodger hitters, they have to be more selective. They have to do a better job of putting the ball in play and getting on base. And that's from Shohei Ohtani all the way down the lineup. So that, to me, is one of their big problems. The bullpen, obviously, a huge issue. Joe Kelly, again, pretty good. Only threw to one batter, got him out. Was that right? No, he gave up a hit. So 2 batters, I guess. Third of an inning, 8 pitches, 1 hit, rest zeros. But Kopech came in and dominated. So that guy, he wants it. He wants to be a part of this team, an active member, a contributor, had a lot of energy. You could see the determination on his face. It was his first pitching performance as a Dodger. So he's trying to show up. Honeywell, speculating yesterday, maybe he's a closer guy, maybe he's a setup guy for Kopech. They let him go 3 tonight because this game was out of hand by the second inning. Gave up 1 run on 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 Ks. So it wasn't terrible. I think it could be, obviously it could be better, but it also could be worse. So they got to figure out this bullpen. They got to find a way to have a rotation that is reliable. This idea, to me, of who's closing tonight, let's pull a name out of the hat. Let's try this guy. Let's try that guy. In high leverage situations, that guy, whoever it is, has to be comfortable there. They can't be overwhelmed by the high leverage moment. Comes back to routine. It comes back to golfers, batters, free throw shooters. They go through a routine. So when they are in a high leverage situation, they're not overwhelmed by it because their routine stays the same. If I have this routine, it won't matter if it's high leverage or meaningless. That's why they do that. So if you got a guy, Daniel Hudson, who's been very good, put him in there as a closer. Oh, he gets rocked. Well, now he's like, oh no. Evan Phillips, same way. Evan Phillips can't figure out what to do in high leverage situation. He can't figure out what to do in any situation right now. But he's like, my stuff is good, but my mind's a wreck. Well, that's the fact that he knows that is at least something, right? But I think I would rather him not know that. I'd rather him be ignorant to the whole thing and just go out there and throw. He's trying to do that, but he's thinking too much. So the fact that they have just willy-nilly pick this guy, throw that guy. And I'm not saying stick with Evan Phillips. I'm like, they got to find somebody and just ride him. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You can't be like, oh, tonight our closer is spin the wheel of closers. That's just not going to work. So they got to find a closer. That is a huge problem for this team right now. And I vote for Kopech. The bullpen is gassed. I get that. But guess what? I don't think it's getting any easier, Mr. Seabad. Nothing left in the tank for any of these guys. It's a huge problem. I agree. But what you can't cash it in right now. We've still got 60 games to play. So, maybe they treading water with running whoever out there right now. And then they start to, this is what I'm saying. Forecasting, it's not the end of it all right now. Right. But they definitely need to say, this is our guy. Trine's been a closer before, but he's a disaster right now. So I don't know that that's the guy. Maybe it changes in different situations as the season goes on. I don't know. They just have to find somebody for sure. Hudson, yes, he's been a closer before. So, but he's old. And, I don't know that he still has it. So it didn't seem to suit him of late. So somebody's got to step up and take that role. Again, my vote is Kopech, but he's new and I'm somebody who falls into the recency bias category. And I'm like, hey, who's this guy? He was pitching in low leverage situations on a nightly basis with the White Sox. And now he's on a good team or a pretty good team that at least has some potential. So, he comes in with that motivation of, I want to be on a contender, and he is. So let's take advantage of that and utilize that and step up. So there's a lot. There's a lot on the whiteboards. The list of need tos and want tos, very different right now. I would say the need to list is a lot longer. The want to list, yeah, there's a few things over there. But right now there's more need tos than want tos. And that first thing that they need to do is figure out the back end of the bullpen. The second need to is they got to get healthy. And there's nothing you can do about that except time. And the third need to for me is they got to be offensively better. Got to put more balls in play, got to get on base, got to make things happen the way the Padres are doing. I'm not saying you emulate everything they're doing, but getting on base, never a bad thing. So take a page out of their book because they're owning you right now. And they have a shot. They play 3 more times right at the end of the season, which could be some very, very meaningful games. And you know damn well the Padres are going to come into that series motivated, regardless of where they're standing in the standings. So they need to turn this thing around and put a new finish on it, and fast. But I fully believe that tomorrow is a welcomed day off. It's going to seem like a long time before they play baseball again, and that's probably a good thing. And their next game is in Oakland against the A's on Friday. We will talk after that. Appreciate you joining me here tonight. Hopefully we had some kumbaya cathartic moments here about what's around the corner. Let's just take a breath and say, look, still July, and there's a long way to go. 60 games. Lots can happen between now and the end of the season. So let's just try to keep a positive spin on this and keep moving forward, because looking back there's no point in doing that right now. I'm Pete Fox. This is the Locked On Dodgers postcast on the Locked On Sports LA YouTube channel. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Dodgers podcast feed. And don't forget to check out Jeff and Vince there with the Locked On Dodgers daily podcast right here on the Locked On Sports Podcasting Network. We appreciate you everydayers for joining us. And I thank you for making me your second listen after you make Jeff and Vince your first listen. Have a good night. Enjoy the day off. We'll talk on Friday after the Dodgers take on the A's.